you go. It's all about you, it's all about me, it's all about what we do. Making art, you and me, trying to find something to believe in.
Hi guys, welcome back here to my channel. It's your girl Britannia, and here we're gonna talk about this new series I watched on Netflix the other day, like literally yesterday. It's Ginny and Georgia. So Ginny and Georgia is a TV show series about basically a family, a mom, her mixed race daughter, as well as her white son. So, but the son is, a part of the show, but it's mostly based on the relationship between like the mother and the daughter's dynamic. The mother has taken the daughter to this predominantly white, very suburban area. She's struggling with her identity and trying to fit into the school because she neither comes from a background of being white or just like a monolithic white person, as well as not being, very rich. Other than dealing with that just kind of identity crisis and feeling like an outsider in a new town, she's also dealing with the fact that her mother seems to be a bit of a shady person, shady in the way that she keeps a lot of secrets. And throughout the whole entire TV show, we started to discover at least a few of them. There seems to be more secrets the mother has than how many fingers I have on both hands. And she's also trying to just, I guess, with the fact that her mom's really young and sometimes her antics seem to embarrass her. So she's just it's kind of very angsty. She's an angsty 15-year-old. Just like with so many other teen dramas, you have to have the teen girl, or well, not just a teen girl, you just have to have the teens going through this existential crisis and not knowing what to do with their age and not knowing how to feel about their parents, and they hate their parents or one specific parent. And that's a lot of the show. Now, the one thing that confuses me about Ginny and Georgia is that I don't really know who this show is for, right? Because like I said, it's basically a teen drama. I would say maybe 60% is focused on the daughter Ginny and teen relationships, her friendships with other girls in school, her crush on the boy next door, right? A lot of teen situations. However, we also focus a lot on the mom and her relationship and her crush or, newfound love, it seems, on the mayor of the town, as well as we see some other love interests come into play with her. My favorite is Joe. I love Joe so much. I don't know. Joe is so fine. I don't even like the mayor that much. The mayor's not even fine. He's just he's kind of like Clark Kent, but not Superman. He gives me that kind of vibe, just I don't know how to describe that. He's good looking, quote unquote, but I don't feel it. Yeah, but I say sometimes I'm not really sure who this show is directed at, because sometimes things get a bit almost to the area of more than PG-16. Sometimes the sex scenes kind of linger a bit, and I'm like, okay, when is this gonna end? Isn't this for teens? But a lot of the dialogue and the predictability and the drama is very teenish. You know what I mean? It really gives me a Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars. I was gonna say Pretty Little Things, this fucking store. It gives me Vampire Diaries. All those things that were more geared towards an audience below the age of 20, because when you're that age, you really just want to watch the drama. You don't care. Sometimes you don't really care about how good the dialogue is, how well written the plot is, how well developed the character is. You don't really care that much about the stuff. You're mainly in it for the entertainment, and that's why I get with that, especially when the show gets really freaking cheesy and cliche-ish. I'm just like, bruh, this has to be for teens. But then sometimes with the sex scenes, they linger a bit, and I'm just like, is this for teens? Not that teens, don't, I guess, deserve to have sex scenes in their shows. I don't know if that's the way I should put it, because obviously at a certain age, most people over the age of 14 or 13, you learn about sex and all those things. So it's not that far-fetched to have you, I guess, watch sex kind of almost simulated. But I don't know, it gives me weird vibes. it gives me weird vibes. I'm pretty sure when I was 16, I was watching stuff with sex scenes in it, because of course I know about sex. A lot of teens are having sex. But I don't know, usually when you see teen dramas, they don't do too much with the sex because they know it's for teens and you don't want to hear complaints from parents and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know, it kind of gave me weird vibes, like, is this really a teen show? But no, I think I think it's really good for kid. Let me not say kids, I'm only 22. I think it's a really good show for young people between the ages of 15 to like 19. Even though I'm 22, I still enjoyed it, but I could feel that it wasn't really meant for me. You know what I mean? But I think it was still a good show. When season 2 comes out, or if season 2 comes out, because Netflix seems to cancel everything that's not actually horrible. They like to cancel the things that are actually decent and are not problematic. Yeah. So if and when season 2 comes out with Ginny and Georgia, I would definitely watch it again. I feel like it's a really fun watch. Like the mom is super charismatic. I actually do care about Georgia somewhat, even though she's super bratty, bruh. What is it with the bratty teen girl stereotype these days? Why does every teen girl kind of bratty? I don't get it. But yeah. But for her, I feel like Georgia was bratty, at least in a bit of a realistic way, because she's young and she doesn't understand how she feels about certain things, and so she kind of acts a certain way. It's never over the top as well. She's not just like a dick from the onset, you know what I mean? She doesn't try hard to be a dick. It's just that sometimes she's a dick. So I even like the son Austin. He's so cute and he's so like adorable with his big glasses on his face, like the Stuart Little kind of vibe. He's so cute. I have to say I was really interested in the drama during most of the show. The first 1 to 2, maybe 3 episodes I feel like are just like a bit cringy. Just because sometimes the acting feels a little bit over the top, especially sometimes with the mom, because she has a really thick southern accent. I don't know if that's a real accent, but sometimes it's so Dolly Partonish that it feels too much. Because a lot of people from the South don't actually sound that thick in the way they talk. It's a bit more subtle, and literally she's the only person on the show with the accent, so it's really jarring sometimes. But yeah, there are moments where it's doing a little bit too much with the acting. It's just like, like people are just like, you know, it's just like it's over the top cheesy drama acting. A couple of the problems I had with Ginny and Georgia is, number one, the way they try to address racial microaggressions in the show with Ginny. It's like it's almost there, but not quite. Like they try. Like, I'm not sure if they had a lot of black writers on the show, involved in the show. However, they would take things that is known to be a microaggression and just not or just things people are ignorant about when it comes to the experiences of a black person or a mixed person, and they would try to portray that in the show, but they wouldn't quite do it well. There's this scene when Ginny is at this school sleepover, right? Being held in like the gymnasium. Cool. And all of the girls want to put their hair into ponytails, and then they ask Ginny to put her hair into a ponytail. And I did like how the lady was just like kind of confused to how to do it. But it kind of made no sense how the girls reacted. Like when she had the piece of her hair that was basically just, she brushed the curls out. And the girls was like, oh, your hair. I'm just like, is that big of a deal? Yeah, she's not doing it properly because she's brushing out her curls instead of just like easily fixing it back, because her hair is pretty long. You didn't really need to brush it, and she should have just told the girl that. But again, it probably makes her uncomfortable to point out that my hair is different. She seemed like she was very uncomfortable, but they made it this big deal about a small section of her curls being brushed out. I feel like that's not something those girls would have picked up on if they couldn't even pick up on the fact that Ginny's hair being in a ponytail would require something a bit different from then. I think something a bit more realistic there is, I don't know, just her putting the ponytail and looking weird, and then Ginny being like, I'll do it myself, because that's something the girls can notice if it doesn't look good. But I just felt like it was so weird because it was just brushed out curls, and the curls weren't that dramatically different from the rest of Ginny's curls. I don't get it. And also, again, her hair is long. She didn't need to go into the bathroom to wet her hair to fix it. She literally could have just pulled it up herself. I didn't get it. I don't know. Yeah. It was weird. And then sometimes when it does these microaggression things, it also feels like it's stealing literally straight from Little Fires Everywhere, which kind of cheapens it a lot for me. There's this scene when Ginny first goes to school, and the teacher is like saying how she probably won't be able to keep up with the work because this is an AP class and you're from a different school and da da da. And that is a scene literally straight out from Little Fires Everywhere, and it's the first scene that happens to Pearl when she goes to school. Her first experience is the first experience that happens to Ginny. Can you come up with your own microaggressions to show Ginny is going through certain experiences as a mixed girl? Why are you stealing that exact scene? And I'm saying stealing because it was the same. It's the same thing, and there are so many other microaggressions that Black and mixed girls go and experience throughout a daily basis. Why did you pick those specific things? And I say steal because it's not the only time it happens. It happens again with they're having a Halloween party and one of the girls say, oh, would it be racist if you're Scary Spice? That's something again straight from Little Fires Everywhere. It doesn't happen exactly like that. At least it has that going on for it. But there is this comment about Scary Spice being, is it racist or something like that, right? That kind of commentary about Scary Spice, and if the Black girl is made to be Scary Spice, is a racist or whatever, right? And why? Do something else. Do you guys know? And that's why I feel like it's not a Black writer writing this, because if you felt the need to watch a show where a racial dynamic is heavily present in the storytelling, and to specifically pick out like 2 microaggressions that happens in it, it's just like you couldn't come up with your own microaggression. I feel like it's impossible to me to be a Black person and not be able to come up with your own microaggressions to tell in the story. So that was the weird stuff. The one scene I did really like that had some racial discussion in it is when Ginny and her boyfriend Hunter had that argument about what it feels like to be a Black minority versus what it feels like to be an Asian minority, and how they're getting mad at each other for not understanding each other's individual experiences and not really listening. And then Ginny decides to just like throw these stereotypes at him, and he does it right back to her. And I'm like, you guys are both wrong. Ginny kind of pushed it there, but Hunter wasn't listening to her in the first place. But again, Ginny wasn't trying to hear him out at all. You know, the 2 of them were in wrongs in both capacities, and it created this almost racial fight of them not, or minority fight I should say, of them not really getting the other's experience or way of walking through life. And I felt that felt a bit way more realistic than them trying to do these subtle microaggressions that weren't working, because it didn't feel real, it didn't feel realistic, and it feels really insulting and cheap when you just steal it from another show that does it way better than you do and cares about a racial discussion more than you do, because the show is more about the drama than it is about Ginny's racial experiences. Although I do like how they didn't make it all about race, because sometimes you don't want to watch that. Like we as Black people are aware of what it feels like to be Black in the racial stuff that we go through, and not just Black people, I'm pretty sure other minorities as well, but we feel it every single day. And that's why it's so offensive when you say, oh, we're making things about race. No, we're not making things about race. Things are about race for us almost in every aspect of our lives. We have to think about our race, therefore we just automatically think certain ways for certain things, and how we see them, we just process it in a way is like, is it this or is it not this? Because it's hard to know when you experience so much and so much is thrown at you, and you know how a lot of people feel a certain way about you based on race. So I can't just erase that thought process from my mind when I have to use it so often for everything else, right? So I do like that it wasn't too much racial discussion, because sometimes I don't always want to hear racial discussion. Sometimes I just want to see a Black person or a mixed person in something, and they're going through things, and it's about the things rather than their race. But it's also important to make the character present that they are aware of their race, because like I said before, we are very aware of our race as a minority. It's impossible for the character not to also be aware. So I think the balance was actually done pretty well, in my opinion. But I do think Ginny and Georgia overall is a good show. Even for, I know I said before that I think the vibe really feels like it's targeted towards teens, But even as a young adult, it's a good show to watch, I think. Like, it's a really good way to pass the time. I enjoyed watching it. I didn't skip any episodes. I didn't want to skip any episodes. The only thing I wish is that she ends up with Joe. Actually, no, scrap that. I hope Joe ends up with somebody he loves, because Joe is so fine. How you telling me the mayor more fine than Joe? Joe is nice, Joe is kind, Joe is attractive, Joe is thick. He got that beard. Stop it. Stop it. And how did Georgia not notice that man liked her? I think another thing I think like the show actually did well when it comes to a racial discussion is sometimes how minorities don't really feel the need to tell their white friends or their non-minority friends the way they feel about certain things, because sometimes you're just so biased when it is your friend. Even though you believe a certain thing, you don't want to have that, you know, not negative discussion, but you don't want to argue with somebody. You don't have to always teach somebody a lesson, and it feels heavy to try to have certain conversations sometimes, especially when you're young and when maybe it's hard to really stand up for yourself and what you believe in, especially when it comes to race, especially when you feel like you don't have anybody else to back you up on your belief and your way of thinking. One other thing I really dislike and it really irritates me sometimes is like Ginny's best friend, right? The first girl that we meet. I forgot her name, but you know who I'm talking about. I'll probably put a picture or something. Like the weird stereotypical character of the quirky person. It's not always a girl, right? But just that weird quirky person who has social anxiety, but the way that they display social anxiety is by talking really fast, and it's just like being manic and all excited. Like, stop it! Oh my gosh, she's so annoying. She's so annoying, and that's another example. I feel like there's that over dramatic, over the top character acting that doesn't happen and makes no sense. It's so off-putting sometimes when she goes all the way here with it, and we're supposed to believe that that's her way of expressing what. I don't get it. Stop it. No one's like that. No one talks like that. No one acts like that. It's just that over dramatic acting for the drama, for the cheesiness. Stop it, please. If it's not like a telenovela where all of the acting is like that, it's so out of place and irritating. Okay guys, that's all I want to really talk about when it comes to this show with you guys today. If you have any other opinions, please leave it below in the comments. If you like this video, give it a like, and watch my other videos. That's just about it. Thanks. Bye.
Here we go, it's all about you, it's all about me, it's all about what we do. Making art, you and me, trying to find something to believe, because I'm running wild, I ain't